Hello guys, this is Fun on Automotive, and in this video I'm going to be naming the 3 things that I do not like about the Jeep Liberty. So let's get to that. Okay, now first off, the independent suspension. Not a big fan of the independent suspension, really ain't. I really wish they went with the solid axle on here, but knowing Jeep, of course they aren't. Of course they did not. For the Jeep Liberty, it was supposed to be better ride and such. Obviously it wasn't a straight four-wheel drive car, SUV, so that's why they decided to go with the independent for a smoother ride. Although you could obviously do some good four-wheeling on these independent front ends, but they're obviously not as strong and there's more components, which means they could be disasters. But it's not all that bad. I do still love it. Still do like the Jeep Liberty. Of course, I always will. Alright, now for the second. Although I know I was talking about the front end like it's a very bad thing, I really do still love it. Like I said, it's independent. It takes a hell of a lot more to lift. You gotta, just to go up my height, you gotta drop the subframe, and then you have to make sure the axles aren't going to bind and all sorts of stuff. And then after that, you got to make sure the upper control arms don't hit down on the spring because they're too down. And then once you do get those spacers on those upper control arms back up, you can have some positive camber. So it's not it's not the easiest, but if you want to deal with it, by all means do it, because it'll look good and it still does ride excellent. I really do like it. And another thing I forgot to mention, when I first did the 2.5-inch lift, my tires were negative camber, and it wouldn't fix until I got the JBA upper control arms. Then that straightened everything out with the 2.5-inch lift. It made it perfect. So just a little thing, a little reminder to let you guys know. A lot of people ask if they do a 2.5-inch lift, what do they have to do? So that's one of them. Well, that's the only thing. 2.5-inch lift, get the JBA upper control arms and align it. Now for the rear, the only thing I hate about this is the upper control arm, how it's that big triangle control arm up there. The Grand Cherokee has it too, and it's not the best. I don't know why they didn't just go with a simple control arm setup for the top, uppers and lowers. I don't know why they didn't do that. Although it is one whole piece, it's kind of a pain to change, especially mine. It hasn't been changed, so I'm sure it's going to be a pain in the butt to do it when it comes time, because I want to get the adjustables eventually, the lowers and the upper, and move my rear axle back, I would say inch. If I could, I would like to move it back a good inch, get it away from this front fender. Let me show you. I would like to get it away from this front fender. As you can see, there's a good gap, but when it rubs, it wants to rub. But I will tuck this tire in every time I do flex. It does tuck up in here nicely, and shockingly, it barely rubs on there. It used to rub a heck of a lot more when I had the spacer set up in the rear. This upper control arm is no bueno. This guy right there, this big triangle piece. I don't know if you can see that. That big old thing right there can be a pain in the ass, especially putting it back after I drop it from the ball joint area. Let me see if I can find it. From this ball joint area, after I disconnect it from here, from the differential, and pop it off, take it off, it's a pain in the ass getting back in sometimes. You have to be on level ground and make sure the axle is perfectly level so that that ball joint will pop back in to this housing right here, so you can tighten the bolt on it. I've done it probably about 10 times now, so I'm pretty good at it. I do it first try every time, but this damn thing, I wish that it was just regular control arms, just like this guy, just like the lowers. Regular, got some surface rust. My Jeep was a tow behind when I bought it. That's what the people said when I bought it from the dealer. It was a tow behind. Some elderly people towed it behind their RVs, their RV, a few good states, and got surface rust all over. That's what I'm guessing. They're more up north based or in the east. So, but yep, this control arm, I'm not liking that setup. Although it works, I don't like it. I do not like it. But like I said, I'm going to get the adjustable upper, so that'll be fixed and done with. So I'm happy for that. But like I said, upper control arm, I'm not sure about that. Alright, you guys. Now, my third is the engine. I do wish that they would have put the inline 6 in here, the 4.0. I really wish they did that. Even the 4.7 liter V8 that the WJ has. Although people say it's not a great engine, you know, even the diesel is great, but people even say that these aren't great engines. I've never had a problem with it. I've floored this thing up hills several times and still never had a problem with it. Although I know they do develop problems, I myself, like I said, never had a problem. I think for myself, I think it is a good engine. I really do. I don't hot rod it around and speed. I do take care of it, change the oil every 3,000 miles, do maintenance on it, change the parts every time they need to be changed. Just recently did the alternator, and you guys did the water pump on that a few videos ago. And you know, as long as you keep them maintenance and be easy on them and don't hot rod them around all the time. Although I know people do hot rod them around and they don't have problems, but I know there's a good handful of people that do have problems. So with the 3.7 liter V6 that this 2002 Jeep Liberty has, I myself have no issues with it. I like it. I think it's a great engine. I really do. Still got the metal valve covers, which is great. I think the newer ones had plastic, and they look a bit different from the manifold, the intake manifold, intake box, I should say. And yeah, the intake manifold's plastic, but that's fine. You know, it works. It really does. But then again, you know, I think it really is a great engine. And I know there's a lot of people out there that do like these as well. Power-wise, torque-wise, yeah, it's not as good as a diesel engine. It wouldn't be as good as the diesel 4-cylinder that the other ones come with, but I myself, I have no problems with it. Again, I have no problems with it. Going a 100-mile trip all the way up to Prescott, Arizona, through Wickenburg, Arizona, all the way up. There's some big steep hills I come across and I ascend, and they only slow me down probably to about 40 all the way up until obviously I get up to level ground again. Still, it chugs and pushes along and it gets things done. I really like this engine. I really do. I just changed this not long ago. I made a video about that a few months ago. There's a common problem with this tube and this part snapping. So if you have a problem with that, you know what I mean. But yeah, that's it for this video, you guys. People have those problems, but I don't. Everything I have seems to be working just fine. So I thank you guys for continuing along with me on my page as I explore and do work on my Jeep and figure things out to help myself and other people. So thank you all for the support. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to help me out. And as always, this is Fun Automotive, and I will catch you later. Goodbye.